Deion Sanders is a nightmare for the football establishment. This man represents everything they don't want to go up against.
Next to you is a miracle. That man next to you is a believer. That man next to you is a go-getter. That man next to you is a dog. That man next to you is somebody who wants this thing. That man next to you is somebody who believes. That man next to you is somebody that gots to have it today. Game time. It's game time. Fellas, I believe in you, man. I believe in you. And you know how I always end it. Now give me my theme music. Oh!
Welcome to the Dark Times channel. And before I get started, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you're not new to the channel and you enjoyed the content so far on this channel, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me as well. And so here we go again, back with another one. And in this video, I want to take a second to chime in on what RG3 had to say about Deion Sanders. And say what you want about RG3. A lot of people have varying opinions on how they feel about RG3.
A couple of times now of a black guy kind of distancing himself away from black people. Okay. But my question, which is just a straight, honest question, is he a brother or is he a cornball brother?
He's not the quarterback of the future. I think he proved all those jigaboos wrong. And when you talk about other teams,
but he's still our brother. And he's not somebody that I would put in that Jason Whitlock category. Everybody's entitled to their own viewpoints and ways of thinking about the world. But nevertheless, RG3 touched on something pretty interesting. He didn't go that deep with it. I'm going to take it a step further and I'm going to go even deeper with it. But before I do, I'm going to go ahead and play that clip. Go ahead and take a listen.
This is a nightmare for the football establishment. This man represents everything they don't want to go up against. Let's go ahead and define who is they. They is the coaches that he's coaching against and the media. Why don't they like him? Well, it's because he's vocal. It's because he's confident and he wants his players to have fun. I mean, this guy is cool. He's dapper. He's a great coach. He'll lift you up, but he's also gonna hold you accountable. You know how long they have told us that you can't have it both ways? As a coach, you can't be cool and be great. Coach Prime don't care about that. Coach Prime is coaching his team. He doesn't want the kid that just wants the bag. He wants the kid that wants to get better. He is making college football adjust to him. Coach Prime is not a spectacle, ladies and gentlemen. He is primed to win.
RG3 hit the nail right on the head. Deion Sanders represents everything they don't want to go up against. And of course, RG3 is somebody who's still on television and somebody who's still affiliated with the NFL, as well as the NCAA. And so he couldn't go as far as he probably wanted to go with this one. And maybe I'm putting words and ideas in RG3's mouth. Maybe he didn't think about it in the same context or in the same direction that I'm about to take it. But it's true. They don't want to have to compete with somebody like a Deion Sanders. They don't want to have to compete with an individual that's not only a Hall of Famer, but arguably one of the best athletes ever. Telling these young men, and young men is what they are. We're talking about men. We're not talking about kids. I know a lot of people like to refer to these athletes as kids. They're not kids. If they were to join the armed services, they would be fighting for our country. So these are men that we're talking about. And a lot of these football coaches for so many years, a lot of these coaches have treated these young men like boys, have talked to them like boys. Darn near animals.
You Mike. I never told no one. Go call your mom and tell her that. Come on, get up. Get the f*** up, I'll rock your ass to sleep.
They call these coaches leaders of men, but that's not the dynamic. They're not leading men. They're not trying to lead men. They don't think of these athletes as men. And a lot of these coaches, especially in the NCAA and especially in football, they lead through fear and intimidation. That's the way they've done it. And a lot of these coaches don't want to have to be bothered with showing these players respect. They want to lead through fear and intimidation. And that's the total opposite of what Deion stands for. There's always going to be a certain level of fear when you're talking about an authority figure, a coach, a teacher, apparent. The fear comes through disappointment. The fear comes through letting your team down. And just judging from these pregame speeches, you can tell the difference in how these coaches operate. Deion's players are looking at Deion in his eyes. They're holding on to every word he's saying. They feel what he's talking about.
We ain't coming no more.
And when Deion Sanders is talking to these young men, it's not about a scholarship. It's not just about playing football. It's about the respect and the reverence that they have for him. Somebody that they know has their backs. Somebody that they know that can relate to them in all aspects of life, not just the game of football. And so when they're looking at him, it's a look of reverence and not fear, as opposed to the Oregon coach who gave his little pregame motivational speech, if you want to call it that. And you can notice how a lot of his players are looking down. They're not looking at him. They're looking down. They're not holding on to every word he's saying. But like I said earlier, Deion is somebody that represents the total opposite of that. Showing these young men that, hey, there's a better way over here. I know how to do it a different way. I know how to get it. And by the way, I'm a Hall of Famer. Pick a sport. I played it. And I'm showing you, you can lead in a different way. I'm going to show you that I love you. I care for you. I respect you as a man. And not somebody that I'm going to treat like a boy. And so that's the real reason, and that's the real underlying reason why a lot of these coaches are scared. Deion Sanders represents a new day. And so I thought RG3 touched on something that a lot of us were thinking, whether he knew it or not. And I just wanted to take an opportunity to go ahead and further expound upon that. And so I think that's going to be a wrap on this particular video. Definitely make sure you hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And as usual, peace and chaos.